keep your eyes on the Leviathans. That's a very pick-centric composition.
The Arcor, of course, rotating over to the Hunter role, needs to be said. Going into this game as well, that's an important thing to look at. And Yarkor, in that interview, he expressed not many concerns, and already getting involved. Jake has been plucked right off the bat by Rongyu here, nearly first blood here in this game. Myth, we've seen kind of this strategy. The Sobek comes into lane a little bit early, ticks over to level 2, and that extra one...
Likely Lazarus is going to be looking to play around these side lanes a little bit more so, whereas Panatom would likely benefit from fighting around mid, making use of that silence to deal with potentially Silo or even this Ymir if he rotates out.
Could be first blood here. Well-timed block. Panatom in on the collapse, but it's a stun on the backside. But Shinto, the Taiko drums might get it done, but Rongyu's the one who finds the first kill. Finally, someone's able to strike pay dirt here, and it's the Leviathan sending 4 to the left.
Man, Jake in a tough situation there. Such an immobile...
That level of anti-heal seemed to make some sense with the way that the Bolts composition is constructed.
It's all to deal with Haddix, but it's not enough to stop a Gold Fury from going down. Crush is going to confirm it for him. Shinto forced to use the Taiko drums, but was not quite in range. Jake, though, sacrificial lamb, loses his life. I'm sure the Bolts are fine with it.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. I mean, you look at the gold, stays dead even, but it's Jake down for the second time this game. If anyone's got to die in exchange for a Gold Fury, I suppose you wouldn't mind it being your Ymir. We've had plenty of conversations around that pick and his ability to still do Ymir things despite a slight deficit in the early game. Are they considering a tier 1 tower dive on the left side of the map? Barracuda uses the Aegis, avoiding most of the damage. Panatom soaking up all the tower. Barracuda weaving his way behind the tower. Panatom's got to leave. So does Yarkor, and Barracuda outplays the 2v1, maybe call it a 2v2. He's got the assist of the tower. Rongyu not happy with it, though. The Mez is in, and Barracuda survives.
If Barracuda's in the...
You and your enemies, and he did so very well there. Panatom looking for the dive, but ended up walking away with nothing. Now it's Lazbra returning back to the solo lane after a little bit of a hiatus from what we saw early on in this game, and now it's Jake for maybe the third time this game being looked at. I'm a monster up and over. Venenu not connecting for any kills just yet, but Shinto sure is. Jake down, 0-3 now on the Ymir. Out goes Haddix. Barracuda dunks on it into the backline. Shinto has to use his actives in order to stay alive, and it's the Taiko drums, but Haddix from over the wall excavates Shinto right back into the graveyard. Lazbra finds Rongyu as well, and it's suddenly the Atlantis Leviathans who are on their way out. Nearly a Sikkim connecting from Venenu, but the Bolts feel like they've got some more legs in this fight.
Julio, the sole remaining member, moving his way forward, but is immediately taken out by Barracuda. What a huge swing and an overcommitment from the Leviathans to chase out Jake here. Where do you go? It's gotta be the Fire Giant, the Bolt. Chase out Jake here. Where do you go? It's gotta be the Fire Giant, the Bolt, starting up the biggest objective on the map.
Lazbra low mana, Haddix half HP, Venenu half HP as well. Panatom full on both of the above. Half HP now on the objective. Panatom wants to contest this one. Haddix has to leave, but Panatom in early on here, Miff, when Haddix is out. Maybe you've delayed the FG, and for the time being, it looks like they have. Nobody from the Bolts wants to stick around. Jake wants to fight, though. That's a good wall, but Panatom's able to sidestep. Barracuda will weave some autos in, but the set is able to escape nonetheless. A gutsy call from both objectives, so not all is lost just yet. But the Leviathans have absolutely been in control of these neutral objectives over the last couple of minutes.
They have. Small skirmish from Yarkor, positioning aggressively here. Wants to take the 1v1, and Barracuda forced to retreat.
Whoa, Barra sidesteps, but it's not enough. Yarkor slides in, gets the kill, and down goes Barra for the first time this game. Probably worth. Now taking a peek down at those Hunter builds as well. They start off very similar, but it's an earlier Executioner. Rage built for Barra, but Wind Demon over there for Yarkor, and that makes a little bit of a difference there in that 1v1. And now the fight breaks out over on the right-hand side. Julio eats one crush, but it's Jake on the front line with all the rest of the team backing away. There's no support for the Ymir. 0-4 now on the Olympus Bolt support, and it's an immediate FG call from the Leviathans.
Haddix and Ven hovering around the side, seeing if maybe they can work their way forward here. Haddix and Ven hovering around the side, seeing if maybe they can work their way forward here, but you gotta play safe. You don't have beads. Rongyu finds the pluck. Haddix burning slowly. Is Hercules able to peel out?
Thunder crash in from Shinto as well. He wants to chase further. Panatom whittling away that health bar. Oh my! Look at the Raiju damage from Shinto, and Shinto will grab his third kill of the game. This Raijin is starting to connect on the damage, and now, yet again, FG pinged back towards, and the Leviathans start to work their way back, but this time it's over on the
leading out in this. They're not quite winning these team fights around the neutral objectives. Leviathans are moving forward wherever they want to strip away towers, and look at Rongyu, man, he can do no wrong. 1 versus 4, zones him out.
Fire Giant is taken down with ease. Barracuda up in the sky. Jake plucked back 0-5 on the Ymir, and it's Shinto with 4 of the kills. Are you kidding me? Barracuda, where'd you go? Shinto a double. Leviathans routing the bolts here on the fight after the FG. Venenu and Haddix, the last 2 left scurrying, and they don't have much more leg in this one. Crush over the wall, though. Venenu has luckily pulled back a kill, and now it's Shinto pushed back by Haddix. Will the Raijin go down? Not today, say the Leviathans. Haddix will fall, though. Big pushback. Venenu a double. That is massive from the bolts to at least pull back a couple of kills, maybe just save the game. But it's the Leviathans with the FG and the fight.
Look, man, Haddix played as close to perfect.
Though, big pushback. Venenu a double. That is massive from the bolts to at least pull back a couple of kills, maybe just save the game. But it's the Leviathans with the FG and the fight.
Look, man, Haddix played as close to perfectly as he could have in that engagement. Now, Ben getting dove inside the Phoenix. Panatom confirms his team, the deicide in this situation, but Jake already back alive, should be able to keep his Phoenixes up. The bolts are a little bit slow on the rotation into Fire Giant, doing large parts of Rongyu's zoning job.
This Phoenix, you're going to have to get it done, likely with some sort of dive or a split push if you're the Leviathans. Then you look at the state of the minion waves. Left side pushing against the Leviathans, so you're not going to be able to rotate on over there. Mid lane slowly maybe pushing in, but it looks like the minions for the bolts will be even quicker. Oh, 3-man freeze from Jake. Starts this one off, but he pays for it in blood. Haddix pushes back Julio, and now the Leviathans dive in. You thought, Jake, you thought the Leviathans pull on in. They sweep out the bolts. It's gonna be a deicide, and it's gonna be game 1 in 30 minutes.
That is a tearjerker for the bolts, man. It was only 6 seconds away from that Fire Giant buff falling off the entirety of the Leviathans. That's all to hold out for, but Jake saw the opportunity, goes for the 3-man freeze.
Sidor style picks Lasbra on the Tsukiyomi this game, might be able to make his way on over into that solo lane that I imagine Mifflin is going to be a lot of fun to watch here. I mean, Tyr versus King Arthur, I mean, that is about as spammy, mash your face on the keyboard, get some damage done as you can, but the damage instead is getting done in the lane. Then can't dodge the plants. Panatom makes his way in. I think it's going to be happening on the right, and instead it's happening right under our noses in mid. And he's going to need some time to scale up. He falls for first blood.
Say what you will about the Leviathans, say that they're late. Maybe he could try and shut down Ben one more time before that ultimate becomes available. Decides it's not worth it, rotates elsewhere.
Lasbra goes to the left-hand side of the map. No kills to be found there. Instead, Yarkor has to use the ultimate, and he'll survive.
We got him.
Death flies out. Yeah, it's on Venenu. Venenu doesn't have his ultimate, and down goes Ven once more. Perfectly played by the Leviathans. The weakness was exposed, and the Leviathans took advantage. 0-2 now on this Kronos out of mid. Miff, we set the stage. The Leviathan to be had, but Panatom still close by. Jake moves forward. Rongyu with a massive wall keeps the pluck from coming through, and Haddix has to leave as well, and Rongyu will scurry away.
We are 8 minutes in, and he's stiff-armed Jake twice already. Shinto now getting aggressed upon, loses on his life. Barracuda picks up the kill off an ultimate in.
Venenu needed that. He desperately needed that. Ven was so low there, did not have his ultimate. If he died again, this early game would have been disastrous for the Bolts mid laner instead of
free at the space to full pyro.
Right, so what's the answer now from the Leviathans? Gold Fury being looked at. This would be pyro for Gold Fury. This is a trade that the Bolts have been okay with taking in the past, but this is slow burning here. Half HP. Barracuda could be looking for a steal. He'll dunk down, but the Leviathans will get the objective, but Barracuda's got the kill. Grasp of Death flies right on by, and Barra wreaking havoc in the backline. Thank God Panatom is able to get that kill for the Leviathans, but the rest of the Bolts are here. Yarkor being melted away. Jake survives. Jake gets the kill. 2 for 1. Pyro for Gold Fury.
Dude, Barracuda absolutely strapping on his cape there and doing it all for his team. How often is a...
We might see continue 2 for 2 on Sobek picks here as well. Jake opting for a little bit extra defense early on, get that extra CC immunity, and gets absorbed right here as Panatom will get plucked up and over. Haddix in on the follow-up. Panatom under some pressure now, and the reinforcements are just not there. Up and over, and Panatom will dash away. Haddix survives. Rongyu rotated in as well, and unfortunately for the Bolts, the Leviathan's jungler will survive to fight another day.
So hard to lock down a Circuit.
And now you're really starting to see how much damage the two soul laners can't do to one another, but I'll hold that thought as Panatom being looked at. Piercing Moonlight connects, but it looks like the Circuit will survive underneath the tier 1 tower. Lasbra Bead stays alive. Rongyu had the freeze. And no kills here just yet. Oh, Grasp of Death. What a reaction from Lasbra, but he's caught in the vine. Rongyu is going to chase him down. The Aegis is there. Julio collapses, and Shinto will grab the kill. And now Venenu trying to flex his muscles here just a little bit. He's alone on the back line. Shinto has to use the Aegis as well.
Nice.
You think Haddix is going to tower dive? You're damn right he is. And now Shinto falls as well. Lasbra for the Leviathans mid laner.
That's a good trade. You want to get rid of Shinto every single step of the way. That's where the majority of the...
Down on the backside. Jake separating 4 members of the Leviathans from the rest of the Bolts. Fury not started yet.
Great
Instead, Leviathans are just going to wait for the lurking in the waters to time out. And that's a big ultimate, Mifflin. That's now down as the fight might break out around this Fury.
Rongyu blinks forward,
Oh,
separates the entire team. Fantastic ult.
Oh, Rongyu survives. Are you kidding me here? The shell. Just make sure of it. And then it's a stun over on
No.
Haddix, and Julio gets the kill. Shinto does as well. Barracuda going fishing, but instead of trying to get the kill just right now onto Rongyu, he's looking for who to dunk down on, and it is no one is the answer. That is a losing fight for Barracuda unless he wants to try to make a miracle play, and he will not. So it's a 2 for none now in the look to see, I think. Kind of the replay of that engage. Yeah, he throws up the wall and then immediately down into the CC immunity, Mifflin. And that just delays so much of the return damage. Then Haddix gets stunned down on the backside of that fight. Any moment of that is delayed even slightly from Rongyu, and he dies. My man has got 50 HP by the end of the engagement there.
God bless, man. That is some of the best Ymir play I think you'll ever get the opportunity to see. And this is the guy who's playing Ymir on the world stage to get to watch him play it. And now the Leviathans are benefiting from a nearly 4,000 gold lead 20 minutes in, rapidly approaching what I like to call the sanguine 25 minutes. It's going to be pretty tough for the Bolts to come back here.
Panatom engages onto Haddix here. Another good wall from Rongyu. Beads from Haddix dash away. Fearless saves his life this time. Oh, but Julio's here. Ultimate from the King Arthur connects it. Haddix slams down to earth, and right back into the graveyard he goes. Tough sledding now for the Bolt. A spec gotten engaged upon. This Leviathans team, if when finding these individual fights, these small 1v1s, little opportunities that they can take, and then immediately to the objectives after.
And they're doing such a good job controlling the space on the map, controlling the vision. Rongyu blinks forward, strips away Ben's bees, and nearly his life as well.
What is that damage?
What?
What is the damage on the Venenu there? I blinked and I can't believe that he just ate all of that. My man could not even pop his ultimate. And he is 6 feet under while the Leviathans...
Into a pick tier 1, tier 2 tower. Ben still dead for 10 seconds. The Leviathans, they've got their eyes on the prize. Fire Giant already down to 50%.
Something, Leviathans finding individual moments, so on and so forth. Jake is not going to let this Fire Giant go quietly, though maybe he should. He's lurking in the waters now. He'll survive, but for how much longer? Julio there on the chase, and Julio will sure get the kill. Yarkor goes down to Haddix, though. The Bolts have found one on the backside of this fight, and Barracuda uses the Aegis, but in a sweeping slash, Julio sends Barracuda to the graveyard to the tune of a double kill. And now Panatom re-engages onto Lasbra. A desperate fight for the Bolts that does not work out. Triple kill for Julio on the King Arthur, and the Fire Giant awaits.
The rookie making a name for himself in his first set in the SPL. Triple kill, 5.
Okay ahead of any single player on the Olympus Bolts. This King Arthur is absolutely swinging, Mifflin, and something that has to be respected. Seems to be outclassing his opponents here as the Fire Giant looked at now by the Leviathans. Bolts closing in. Barracuda's not here just yet. It's a pluck back from Jake, but Jake has been left alone. Yarkor swinging for the fences with his ultimate here. I don't think that executes Jake, but Jake sure to fall here shortly, and it's a killing spree for Shinto. Barracuda up high above the rest of this fight, but there's not really much of a spot for him to drop down into. The team is losing their health bars all over the place. Barracuda finds a backline. Oh my god, he evaporates under the damage from Shinto, who has now a double in this fight. Rongyu locks Lasbra right into place with the wall, and it's Venenu, the squishy 0-3, 0-4 Kronos for him to drop down into. The team is losing their health bars all over the place. Barracuda finds a backline. Oh my god, he evaporates under the damage from Shinto, who has now a double in this fight. Rongyu locks Lasbra right into place with the wall, and it's Venenu, the squishy 0-3, 0-4 Kronos, make it a 3-piece for Shinto. The Leviathans are rolling in week 1.
They are doing it so fancy, aren't they? Even in that last team fight, we see Barracuda up in the air. What do the Leviathans do? It's
an 8. This game is not over yet, though. Bolt still have a chance to defend under their right side. Phoenix just poking and prodding away, and poking and prodding is all they have to do. Yarkor walks up, sends out an auto, massive chunk out of that Phoenix's health bar. Julio eats a bit of burst there from Venenu, and not much comes of it. Shinto pouring damage out from the backline, piercing Moonlight. This is it for the Bolts. Now's your time to defend, but you're doing it away from your Phoenix. You need that extra bit of help. Lasbra gets taken down now by Panatom. The Leviathans fighting with the numbers advantage. Julio pushed back from the rest of this fight. Barracuda jumped on. Barracuda deleted by Rongyu. Jake, Venenu, you're on the wrong side of things. You got to get back to base. Haddix has gone back to the fountain here, and it feels like the Titan may soon crumble here, Mifflin. Venenu's going to do his best to peel out for himself. There's some burst, but it's not nearly enough. It seems like the Leviathans are going to take game 2.
Haddix and Jake still draw breath, but they're not stepping
up.
The Titan's burning fast.
The Titan is absolutely melting. No chance for the Bolts. The Leviathans come out swinging in their first set of the year. You're just going to pad the stats a little bit with a kill onto Haddix, but the Titan will go down nonetheless. This one ends just shy of 29 minutes. The Leviathans take the set 2-0.
Yeah, let that be a note.